Today on Wobblycogs Workshop I'm making a custom cabinet for my workshop sink. I'd love to be spontaneous, but it's just not in me, so like most of my projects this one started life being designed to death in SketchUp. With my trusty tape measure in hand it was time to measure, mark and cut all the pieces. You remember that old saying, measure twice, cut once? Well, it's an old saying for a reason. My SketchUp plan used the nominal timber size of 50mm, but my timber's actually 45, so the whole thing will end up being 5mm shorter and the face frame will be set back 5mm. Not the greatest of starts. Everything was accurately the wrong size, so I decided to just use relative dimensioning to correct the frame. Time to put the now slightly smaller pieces together for a test fit. I do love my two Bessie clamps, shame they're so expensive. While designing this frame I considered a few different ways of making the joints. I must have been thinking about pizza at the time though. Due to the plumbing behind and to the side of the sink, the two sides of the frame aren't the same. The left hand side includes a short cantilevered section which is needed to support the type of sink I'm using. Here you can see the frames of the two sides on top of each other. Note that the left side is smaller front to back and shorter. In the next shot the frames are standing in roughly their finished location. I reworked the plumbing for the washing machine so that the right hand frame could go back against the wall. I'm using what's known as a sit-on sink. This designer sink completely replaces the section of work surface where it's installed, which makes it a great choice for a workshop where it's likely to see heavy duty. The two short edges of the sink need to be completely supported though, so here I'm cutting out a piece of ply that will span the gap from the left frame to the wall. Next I worked on cutting and fitting the rails that will determine the width of the unit. Since the unit isn't symmetrical, I cut one to the exact required length and then used that to determine the length of the others. Then it was just a matter of fitting more dominoes. The back top rail supports the overhang, so I need to treat it differently. I start by marking the domino location and then chop out the area where the ply goes, using the front rail as a reference for length. I temporarily fitted the left leg to the rest of the frame, and then it was time for the first test fitting of the sink. The front of the bowl interfered with the front rail a little, but I expected that, and it was close enough for me to proceed with the glue up. I'm not going to fit it just yet, but while the cabinet's easy to move around, I'm going to cut a side panel for it from some old plywood I had in the shop. The cabinet will eventually be painted, so the surface blemishes aren't terribly important. The sink is designed to sit on a regular kitchen cabinet which has sides that are maybe 15mm thick, so the sides of my frame interfere with the bowl of the sink. Now that the frame is all glued together, it's a fairly simple job of cutting out sections that clash. Here you can see a temporary side I've fitted until it's time to fit the real one. I don't want to fit the real side just yet, as I'll have to cut a hole in it for the washing machine which isn't staying in the workshop. The cabinet's a long way from finished, but I'm going to leave it there for now as it does what I need. In a future episode I'll fit shelves, a kickboard and a face frame before giving it a lick of paint. Thanks for watching and I hope to see you all again later.